So again, with one of my unscripted, unedited posts, and could go basically anywhere, but I'm really wanting to talk about my feelings around how I've been quite anxious over the COVID situation and how badly I feel I've dealt with this, just to share really with other people, so that I don't know, maybe it'll help, maybe it won't, but you won't watch the video if you're not interested. So basically, over 20 years ago, I worked on intensive care, so I've got those specialities, those skills of old, and 20 plus years is a long time within a discipline like that, that's very fast-paced and very technical, and things move really, really quickly. So to work in an intensive care environment, in my opinion, one needs to be fast and able to look after everything that's needed. So that's a patient on a ventilator, that's all the drips, and a big one for me on top of all that is looking after the families. Mental well-being of the family and the patient. So that's been a real big issue for me, thinking that I should be putting myself in a position to go back to the front line. So that was my first real concern. But the reality was, I knew that I'd be more of a hindrance than a help to anybody in that situation. So over a week ago, I contacted health areas that I felt I could be of more benefit, so I could help people with guidance and advice via telephone support. So I was looking at 111 or public health. So I ferreted around the internet and I found means to send emails to them. So they got back to me really quickly to say they'd get back to me. So I knew that I was possibly, or I felt that I was going to be needed somewhere. And I was really hopeful that it would be within my own field of what I consider to be expertise, which is helping people to deal with what they're faced with at this moment in time. And I was really hopeful that I wouldn't be called up to intensive care. But part of me was thinking that's where I might be needed. But I totally lost perspective, and I was totally irrational. So as time's gone on, I've spoken to more people and crazy stuff on the internet and conversations with people, and everybody's an expert, everybody's got an opinion, and I've been going around in circles, beating myself up. One of the main things was reading that there was no PPE. Well, I'm struggling with that idea, because we've got the Health and Safety Executive, HSE, and Management at Work standards, and I couldn't get my head around the fact that healthcare would be flaunting that. So, okay, think about that in a minute. And the other thing was, I couldn't bear the thought of being there to watch somebody die alone. And that's what was all over social media, that patients were dying alone. And that's always been one of my big things, that it's really important to support people when they're dying, whether we know if they're aware of it or not. But being there for the patient and being there for the family. And I know that that's something that I can't cope with. basic values. And that's one of mine, to support families and people emotionally, because the aftermath of that, you've got to survive. After you've lost somebody you love, you've got to survive after that, and you've got to have something in your heart to help you through that. I'm really sorry. So apart from all the stuff that was going on about, oh my gosh, the nurses didn't really want to have to support me, tissue tag, giving me as much, I suppose, guidance in relation to updating my skill set. That would be a lot for them to have to deal with when they're dealing with everything else, and then the fact that my emotions would possibly hold me back and bring me down. So I couldn't cope with that. So I really think that social media has got such a lot to answer for. Then there's been people telling me half stories. Half stories are so dangerous. And normally I don't get embroiled in them, but because I lost my perspective, I did, and I just couldn't really think straight. So the past week, I've been blooming useless. Somebody actually said to me that nurses should just get on and do it. They should. It's what they're trained for. They should just get on and do it. And I got really angry. And this person actually said to me, thinking back to the war, back to the 40s, 1940s, and they should just get on with it like the soldiers did during the wars. And I got such a lecture, and I was so angry that somebody should just think that whatever's going on, nurses should just push themselves to the brink, like cannon fodder. And I was like so angry with this person, and it's eaten me up over the week. So today, I've been out for a run, and as part of the social isolation, that was my daily exercise, and my perspective on it changed, and I thought that maybe this person, although they would have been way too young to have participated in the 1940s wars themselves, they possibly had an experience from it, maybe grew up without a parent or something, so they had their own perspective. And I think that's why I'm doing this video now, because we all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses, and I think we need to find some coping strategies to help us through whatever is going on for us, or whatever we're going through. So step back, take a deep breath, try and see it from other people's perspectives. Social media is good for socialising, but I always ask, and this is what I've not been doing this week, I always ask, does it make sense? Does that make sense? If you stop and ask, does that make sense? And the answer is no, then it probably doesn't make sense. So I'm not going to go, because I'm thinking about the PPE and I'm thinking about patients dying on their own, and I don't want to justify my thinking around them. It's got to make sense to me, and your issues have got to make sense to you. So just consider your perspective. Smile. I know I posted last week about smile, so it does make a difference if you put a smile on your face. It just changes things. So wash your hands properly, dry your hands properly, maintain social distance, look after each other, be safe, be kind, and smile. Thank you for your time. Take care. Bye-bye.